there was one item which had a huge contribution to the winning of World War II, and the Allies manufactured and used it in huge numbers, and it was actually a German invention. This was the Jerrycan. So why was it called Jerrycan? That's because the original design of the Jerrycan is German, and it was such a good design that the Allies started using and manufacturing it as well. Before World War II, in the 1920s and 30s, the fuel containers were rather flimsy designs, made from very thin metal and required the use of funnels. At the beginning of World War II, the British Army used two types of small fuel containers, the 2-gallon ones made from pressed steel and the 4-gallon ones made out of tin. The latter were so weak and prone to break, the troops called them flimsies. It was estimated that transported over rough terrain, they could lose up to 25% of the fuel due to leaks, not to mention the fire hazard they caused. It was a common practice that they were discarded after just one use. The design of the Jerrycan was first introduced in 1937. It was a design of Vincent Grünvogel, and despite its simple looks, which we are all familiar with, it's quite an ingenious design made to fit many specifications. So let's see what makes a simple fuel can so special. The average fuel containers used before World War II usually had weldings on the edges and corners, making them prone to cracks and leaks while shipping. Meanwhile, the Jerrycan was stamped from two halves and welded in the center, and the welding itself was done in a recess which protected it. It had indentations on the flat sides to strengthen it, which again seems obvious today, but was a new feature back then. These indentations also gave it a bigger surface area to expand and shrink in different temperatures. Another ingenious feature is the 3 carry handles. This allowed a single person to carry 2 in each hand when they were empty, grabbing the side handles. Carry 2 of them if they are full by using the middle handles. Or 2 people could grab one can together, again using the handles on the sides. The handles are also hollow and positioned above the filling cap, creating an air pocket, meaning the can could float if dropped in water. Instead of a screw cap, they introduced a lever type one for quicker operation and also a little air pipe to help with smooth pouring of the fuel. The cans also had a plastic liner inside to prevent rusting. By 1939, the German military had thousands of these cans stockpiled, preparing for war. It just happened that in this year, an American engineer, Paul Pleiss, planned a car trip to India with a German colleague. They found out that they didn't have enough water storage, but luckily the German had access to the Jerrycan stockpiles on the Berlin airports and managed to get 3 of those. Pleiss realized what a great design it was. So when he returned to the US, he told the military about the new type of cans, but he didn't have a sample as his car was still in storage in Calcutta, where he left it after the trip. Soon it was transported back to the US and he sent one of the cans to the military, where it ended up in Camp Holabird. The Americans redesigned the can slightly before putting it to use. The size and shape remained, but the stamping was simplified and the recessed welding seam was replaced with rolled seams. The British Army first encountered the Jerrycans in 1940 in Norway and realized immediately that it was superior to the thin flimsies they were using. They started using captured German cans, and also British companies like Vauxhall and others started manufacturing copies of the German design. By the end of the war, the Allies manufactured and used about 20 million of these cans in Europe alone. The troops actually had orders to keep the cans to be reused, but they usually ignored this and a huge amount of cans were abandoned and lost, sometimes limiting the fuel supply, though the fuel itself was available. After the war, the US Army actually organized collection of the cans by French school children. They offered prizes for the returned cans, and almost 1 million cans were returned this way. The Jerrycan is still the standard fuel container in the NATO countries to this day. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please leave a like and in the comments let me know if there's any interesting events or vehicles you'd like to see.